There's a rhythm to life here in the Dominican Republic. When you step into the sugarcane villages, you're confronted by hardships that are impossible to ignore. And as we step into these communities, we're reminded that God's love knows no boundaries. Missions is more than an event or a trip. It's an invitation to be part of something bigger than ourselves. Jesus said, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation." Those words aren't merely a suggestion. They're a commission, calling every believer to bring his light into the darkest corners of our world. Here among family and friends, some of which we've just met, we find a bond that's forged by faith, by compassion, through the gospel, and by a desire to see God's kingdom flourish. When you step out in faith, you encounter people and stories that change you forever. A simple conversation can become a moment of transformation. A shared meal becomes a doorway to a friendship. And in the giving of ourselves, we discover how much we actually receive. It's in these humble acts of service that the gospel truly comes alive, where love is not just spoken, but it's demonstrated. In every handshake and every prayer, we catch a glimpse of God's heart for the nations. We realize that crossing culture and language barriers isn't a challenge, but a blessing, one that brings us closer to God's vision of unity among all of his children. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And when we respond to that call, we become part of God's redeeming work in the world. Missions isn't reserved for a few. It's a journey open to all who say yes to God's prompting. Perhaps you felt that gentle nudge to go, to be part of a trip like this. Maybe you're unsure where to start. Let these images and testimonies stir your faith. Let them remind you that God uses ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary things. Through every prayer, every act of kindness, and every open heart, he's writing a beautiful story of hope. The question isn't, should I go? But rather, what might God do if I answer his call? Let your heart be moved. Step out in faith. There's a world waiting right now for the hope that we carry. In these sugarcane villages, we learned that the true treasure isn't measured by material wealth, but by faith, by community, and the unshakable hope that God is at work. May you find your place in this grand story of redemption.